Up next on OC News.
A high school student in San Diego was stabbed multiple times on campus.
An arrest was made in connection to a shooting of a New York Jets player.
And a popular restaurant might have skipped your number. Or so you thought.
All of this and more to wrap up OC News for the fall semester.
This just now in tech news, the first responder on
There's been a lot of collaborative efforts over the years.
Blessed to be here in Fullerton.
Brought to you by the broadcast journalism students
at Cal State Fullerton. OC News starts right now.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the OC News Late Show. I'm Colin Costigan.
And I'm Evan Fidel. Thank you for joining us today for our final show for the fall 25 semester. A suspect is allegedly in custody for stabbing a female student Wednesday morning at San Isidro High School. The incident was reported around 9 a.m. at the campus at 5353 Airway Road, according to the San Diego police. Authorities say the student was stabbed multiple times in a classroom before fleeing. The victim was transported to the hospital, and her condition remains unknown. The suspect was described as a Hispanic male and was taken into custody. The motive for the attack is still under investigation.
An ordinance law forbidding encampment on public property across Orange County has caused much concern for those experiencing homelessness. Fraz Maniar gives us more on the story.
Ever since Orange County passed the ordinance law prohibiting encampments on public property, it has increased prosecution affecting many homeless citizens. OC 5th District Supervisor Katrina Foley explains the importance of this law.
We need to make sure that we have the care and coordination and the supports for people who are experiencing homelessness and need help, as well as the law enforcement for those individuals who are maybe they are creating crimes in the area, posing fire hazards, stealing, that kind of thing. And so we're always going to come with a housing first, care and coordination first model, but we do need to balance that against the law enforcement piece to keep people safe.
Experts have expressed doubts in this law, saying that the reality is to push people away into other counties instead of helping them here.
You know, there definitely do need to be sanitation laws, and there do need to be loitering laws, and there are things that that are designed to just improve the overall quality of the city for everyone. The question is, do you do that so that when you encounter an unhoused person that is, for example, sleeping in a public park, are you using that as an opportunity to get them into services that could help them, or are you just using that as an opportunity for the police to cite and arrest and release them? The history has been that the cities, especially in Orange County, aren't acting in especially good faith, right? They're not passing the ordinances really just to improve the quality of the neighborhood. They really are just trying to drive people out of their city and into other cities.
Orange County has dedicated millions of dollars to shelters and housing to aid the homeless.
I just try to keep educating people about all of the ways that the County of Orange is helping. $216 million invested in housing just this last year. Hundreds of new permanent supportive housing units. In District 5, 2 motels converted to provide apartments for people who previously were homeless. All of these efforts have to work together. We have to have the supports, the housing, and the law enforcement in order to get to a net zero of homelessness and to prevent crime in our community.
In Fullerton, Fraz Maniar for OC News.
With the Holly Jolly holidays just around the corner, it could also be the most depressing time of year for students who may be dealing with a drop of motivation and low moods. But do not fret, Jenny Guzman has you covered on how to turn your sad smile upside down.
As the merry holidays approach, so do the colder, shorter days of the year that can be notorious for bringing down people's energy.
I think it's kind of a struggle to continue being energized throughout the day because I would consider myself more of a day person. I like when the sun's out because I feel like I can be more productive, probably because I feel like I have more energy, honestly. So once it
the mood shift during the winter months can even lead to a special type of depression called seasonal affective disorder, or SAD for short.
People tend to be more experience more emotions of sadness or depression So I know it's just like, it comes around more like fall and winter seasons.
The low moods and energy dips that stem from seasonal depression hit hardest during the winter because of less sunlight.
You know, it is really important for your body to know when it is the daytime, and because your body signals to itself that, hey, it's daytime, you're supposed to be awake and alive. So when you're not exposed to the sun during the normal hours and just like inside all day, it can really affect your whole mood. And even
the seasonal changes can affect a student's well-being and come with a number of serious symptoms.
Similar to depression is what they may experience during a specific season. So it could be difficulty concentrating, difficulty with their sleeping, eating habits. Everything is just very coinciding with what we would diagnose as MDD, major depressive disorder, but it's seasonal. It happens.
With seasonal depression hitting so close to finals, it's important for students to stay connected to the existing mental health resources available on campus.
So we have things like doggy therapy, which is like our most popular service on campus. We have our drop-in groups. We also have the wellness room, which I like to say is kind of like a gateway for students to learn about counseling, because
the existing resources and mindful practices can be the gateway for students to reclaim their energy ahead of the holidays. Signing off OC News, Jenny Guzman.
A gem on our campus is our lovely Arboretum. Reporter Taylor Davis takes us there, where biology students displayed their findings for their final class project.
Students came to the Arboretum to showcase their research, while attendees came to learn about the wildlife that's right here on campus.
What I did is challenged my students to visit the Arboretum, find an animal that they could see in the Arboretum, and make an art poster about that to educate the public about what kind of wildlife we find in urban areas, especially the Arboretum on campus.
The showcase gives students a chance to present what they discovered here.
I chose the cochineal beetle. It's a very small red beetle, and they're very inconspicuous. They tend to look like bird droppings on a cactus. So if you go around the Arboretum and you find a cactus, you might think, oh, those are bird droppings. But if you pick them up, you're brave enough. Might be a bird dropping, might not.
For many of the students, the project offered a closer look at wildlife that they usually overlook.
So picking an animal that is an insect, and especially as a desert, was really interesting because I get to learn about how these animals interact in desert environments versus aquatic environments.
Highlighting the garden life and wildlife that calls this campus home, I'm Taylor Davis reporting with OC News.
Hey Evan, have you ever been to the Arboretum?
I haven't been there at all myself personally, and I feel like if I got there, I'd get lost. It's a lot of trees. It's a beautiful place, but I'm so glad that Taylor was able to get that story for us, you know what I mean?
It's been a little while for me too, but it is very pretty there. Coming up, be aware of how the government shutdown can impact your holiday travel.
Also, an update of the investigation of the shooting of a New York Jets player.
And I'll let you know why you may want to consider wearing shorts in the winter. Stay tuned on OC News.
How do you know when you've made the right decision? It's the feeling you get in your gut, the one that tells you what's right or wrong. It's the voice inside you that says, I'm buzzed. Better leave the car when it's time to go. Buzz driving is drunk driving.
Even the mighty might not see it coming. It's prediabetes, and it captures 1 in 3 adults. But you can escape. Take the 1-minute prediabetes risk test to know where you stand and prevent or delay type 2 diabetes. Be your own hero on smartphones everywhere at doihaveprediabetes.org.
The government's reopening could not have come at a better time, easing pressure on airports and travelers heading into one of the busiest holiday rushes of the year. Ariel Phillips has the story.
Since the government reopened, TSA checkpoints at airports across the country have returned to full staffing. Travelers are now seeing faster-moving lines compared to delays caused during the shutdown. But some airports are still working through the leftover backlog from the busy holiday rush. Still, airlines say it may take much more time for schedules to fully stabilize after weeks of uncertainty.
I've been looking into flights because my dream vacation is Hawaii, and the ticket prices have been dropping, so now I get to go for 5 days, and I'm so excited.
During the shutdown, many travelers saw flight prices spike as airlines adjusted to reduced staffing and unpredictable schedules. With fewer available flights and a surge in demand for holiday travel, ticket costs climbed higher than usual.
So I had plans to visit my boyfriend in Germany, but the flights were so expensive. They were averaging around like $1,800 to $2,000, and it's also during the holidays, so I already know like the airport was going to be crowded. It was going to be just a long travel trip and like just a lot of money just for 10 days.
Start spreading the news. I'm leaving today. No, we're actually leaving today. With the government opening back up, I don't have to pay $900 for a 16-hour flight and have a 5-hour layover in Columbus, Ohio. Let's go. Even with the government back open, some travelers are still navigating leftover delays from weeks of paused or slowed federal services. Many say the reopening has made a noticeable improvement, but they're still preparing for longer wait times during the holiday season.
All my plans are for the holiday is to go back home, back to Bakersfield. So the government reopening back up didn't really impact me travel-wise. It's normally like a 2.5, 3-hour drive.
For families planning to travel during the shutdown, higher flight prices made the holidays even more stressful. With limited flight options and increased demand, many people were forced to pay more or change their travel plans altogether.
To me, whether the government is open or closed, flights are expensive either way. If flights were cheaper, I would have either gone to go visit my family in New York or something.
Hopefully the government has no more sudden shutdowns and people can enjoy their holidays. I'm Ariel Phillips, and this is OC News.
Hey, Evan, I just got to ask, how's that holiday travel looking for you?
I'm actually excited because I ain't got to go nowhere. I live locally in West Covina, so, well, not locally here because it's Fullerton, but in West Covina, I ain't got to travel nowhere. All the family's close, so 10-minute drive, I'm there.
Me personally, I got to make a 7-hour drive next week, so I'm not looking forward to that. But speaking of the holidays, Christmas may be just a couple of weeks away, but it sure doesn't feel like it outside. Sergio Gonzalez has the scoop on this toasty winter weather.
Thanks, Colin. And I hate to break it to you, but it's no longer matcha season. With Christmas time here, hot chocolates are back in, should be in season, but the weather says otherwise. Let's take a look. As you can see from today's weather, we saw a high of 85 degrees and a low of 54, which is a pretty drastic drop off. That's a 31-degree differential. So I hope you guys dress for the warmth, but please tell me you brought a sweatshirt in the trunk of your car. We had a wind of 6 miles per hour today, which was pretty nice. Gave us a little bit of a breeze to balance out the heat. Humidity was 34. You couldn't really feel it too well, at least I didn't. And sunrise was 6:46 a.m. So for all you early birds that were commuting or going to the gym, props to you because I was not up. But sunset was 4:43 p.m. So that is long gone by now. But I hope you guys saw the sun today. But yeah, as we look into our 5-day forecast, we can see a pretty warm weekend, which is pretty unfortunate with the Christmas season. We have a high of 79 on Thursday, high of 75 on Friday, a couple of sunny days, and then we transition to a little bit of clouds. As you see over the weekend, we have 73 on Saturday and 72 on Sunday, cloudy on Saturday, partly cloudy on Sunday, and then all of a sudden we're right back to sun on Monday with 75. I thought it was going to start getting cold. Like I was getting ready with all of my sweaters and jackets, but I guess not. Let's transition into traffic. As you guys can see here with the live shot of the 57 freeway, it is mildly packed. Not too bad, but the transition onto the 91 is not too bad at all. You can see some cars on the right side just going pretty smoothly down the 57. And if you guys are driving back home from a long day of work, please stay safe and drive safe out there, Titans. That's all I have for today's report. I appreciate you all for tuning in throughout the fall, and I am incredibly gratified to be a part of something special here on OC News. For the final time, sending it back to my brothers at the desk.
Brother, thank you so much for the traffic You didn't even need to explain anything there. There was not much going on. We all know it's jammed. Like, man. A suspect involved in the shooting of a New York Jets player, Chris Boyd, is now facing attempted murder charges. Police arrested 20-year-old Frederick Green at an apartment near University of Buffalo on Monday. Green attempted to jump out of a window before he surrendered to the police. The shooting happened back in November in Midtown Manhattan, where the surveillance footage shows Green covering his face with a mask, removing a gun from his backpack, and fired 2 shots toward the direction of the New York Jets player. Boyd was shot in his stomach, and the bullet lodged into his pulmonary artery. Boyd was taken into the hospital in critical condition, but has since recovered.
Well, the last time the Chargers made the Super Bowl, it was way back in 1995. And let me just remind you that they got destroyed by the San Francisco 49ers. But now, a particular grandpa, was just 14 years old at that time. Wonder what he and that franchise are up to now. Our sports reporter, Diana Vilches, might be able to help us out. Diana?
Good evening, sports fans. And yes, Colin, in a surprising turn of events, former NFL quarterback Philip Rivers, known for his stellar career with the Los Angeles Chargers and Indianapolis Colts, is making headlines once again. Rivers played an NFL game in 2020 for the Colts, but in a shocking news drop, he will return to the team at the age of 44 years old. Rivers, who had an impressive career with the Chargers before joining the Colts, had to transition into coaching high school football. However, the quarterback has now signed onto the Colts practice squad with the intention of possibly suiting up as soon as Sunday versus the Seattle Seahawks. Recently, new grandpa will be stepping in for Daniel Jones, who tore his Achilles last Sunday. Rivers was a Hall of Fame eligible this winter. Now he's active for a game. His eligibility will be revoked. The move is a gamble on the Colts, but could pay massive rewards. In a game that went down to the wire and stretched into overtime, check on your Chargers and Eagles fans because Monday night, their blood pressure was high. This game was an emotional roller coaster, and it ended in disappointment for one team. Chargers QB Justin Herbert played through a hand injury he suffered last week, but went 12 for 26, recording 139 passing yards and adding 66 on the ground. On the other side, Eagles QB Jalen Hurts had a night to forget, tallying 5 turnovers, including one with both an interception and a lost fumble. He finished with 240 passing yards after all the back and forth through 4 hard quarters. Regulation ended knotted at 19 apiece. In overtime, Chargers kicker Cameron Dicker hit a field goal to put Chargers in front. The win was sealed when Chargers safety Tony Jefferson intercepted Hurts at 1-yard line. After the pass was tipped by cornerback Cam Hart, the Chargers triumphed over the Eagles with a final score of 22-19. The victory moved the Chargers to 9-4 and placed them in a strong playoff hunt. The Eagles, on the other hand, they have lost 3 straight, dropping them 8-5. And if you're a Chargers fan, you had a night to celebrate. Like this picture you see here, that was an Eagles fan. He was sad, depressed, miserable, all the emotions, all of the above. Now, thank you for tuning in. I'm going to pass it to you guys at the desk. Colin, I know you're not a Chargers fan, but I do have a Chargers hat at home and a jersey waiting for you for the day that you do.
You know, Diana, I'm going to have to respectfully pass on that. I got to stay loyal to the San Francisco 49ers.
That's so real. Loyalty. You can't trade teams. Coming up, students needing some retail therapy were able to attend the Fullerton Fashion Club's semesterly flea market in the Quad. You know, I hope they're still out there. Maybe we could have got our threads from there.
I don't know, Evan. We're looking pretty good.
Yeah. Ew.
But also, Evan, what happened with the number 6-7 at In-N-Out? Stay tuned after the break.
The impact of a meal goes well beyond feeding our bodies. Because when people are fed, futures are nourished. Everyone deserves to live a full life. And with your help, together we can end hunger. Join the movement at feedingamerica.org/actnow.
Whether it's our stories, the warmth of our laugh, or our family's secret sauce, we all bring something different to the table. So make some space. The power of connection is waiting right outside your comfort zone. Learn how you can help strengthen your community at belongingbeginswithus.org/teamup.
Hate is loud. It gets clicks. It gets attention. Hate, however, is actually quite small. But love is the majority. Love fills our hearts, our lives, our everyday.
Today in the Quad, FFA hosted a flea market which brought together the student community by showcasing the Fullerton fashion scene.
Members of the Fullerton Fashion Association gathered here on the main quad today for the return of the FFA flea market.
The flea market brings students together with an entrepreneurial spirit. Hosting the flea market gives Titans the chance to make some money while clearing out their closets and developing small businesses. The inviting environment opens students up to new opportunities as well.
Getting to know people who are interested in clothes and fashion is important because it's a really lighthearted space. It's really easy to make friends. It's really fun to kind of create together.
The flea market began in the spring as a way to give students a chance to build up their own businesses.
Sustainability was actually one of the biggest reasons why I personally got into fashion. So I think it's really great that we can have kind of an event like this that generates a lot of traffic on campus, wherein we can promote shopping secondhand.
As it has developed, it has also become a place for students to share their fashion senses.
If I'm going out to a flea market, I'll go wear something that I am most happy in, my style, to show me. And I feel like everyone else does that too, and I love seeing that.
FFA also took the opportunity as a way to promote future events and build on their success from the past.
Events like the Fullerton Fashion Association's flea market provide a new source of connection on campus for Titans and give them the chance to put something new in their closet. Reporting in Fullerton for OC News, Kabir Kansara.
The West Coast's beloved fast food chain In-N-Out has decided to take a stand and retire the number 67 from their ticket ordering system. People magazine has confirmed when the fast food chain calls out order numbers, the viral number is skipped, going from 66 straight to 68. The popularized phrase would incite wild celebrations of children and teenagers when called out, creating public disruptions in the restaurant. Meanwhile, a few competitors are trying to capitalize on it. Wendy's added 67-cent Frosty deals, and Pizza Hut now has 67-cent wings. 67 is the second number to get banned from In-N-Out's ticketing system, with the first being 69.
Two reasonable bans, I'm gonna tell you that. Those are two reasonable bans right there. I feel like my brain should be donated to science to see how I react to people doing this and say the number 67 every time. There's some chemical in my brain where I see it all the time.
Yeah, honestly, I haven't been to In-N-Out in a little bit, but I'd say the last 6 or 7 times I went, it's been kind of crazy.
Okay, Colin. All right. And now an update on a very famous trial and who will buy Warner Brothers. Our entertainment anchor, Miranda Palmas, has some answers.
Thank you, Evan. For all of you that have been following the Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni case, there is finally an update on when their trial should start. A federal judge in New York has officially moved the start date from March to May 18th, saying the court's tied up with a couple of criminal cases that have to go first. The lawsuit centers on Lively's claims that she faced sexual harassment and a hostile work environment while filming It Ends With Us. Baldoni denies those accusations. His own $400 million countersuit was dismissed earlier this year. Both sides will be back in court in January for a hearing that could set tone for what happens next. But as of now, that new May trial date is where everything is headed. Big drama in the media world. Paramount is going all in with a hostile takeover bid for Warner Brothers Discovery, and the price tag is massive. Paramount is putting up an all-cash offer valuing Warner Brothers Discovery at $108.4 billion. And here's the kicker. Paramount wants the whole company, the studios, the streaming platforms, and all of the cable channels, such as CNN. That's a sharp contrast to Netflix's bid, which is about $82.7 billion, and doesn't even include Warner Brothers Discovery cable networks. So Paramount's making it clear they're coming in with a much larger and more comprehensive offer. Since it is a hostile move, they're going straight to shareholders and bypassing Warner Bros. Discovery's board. The tender offer runs through early January, so this showdown is only just getting started. Fashion fans, get ready. We've got some major news about next year's Met Gala, and the co-chair stars are huge. Beyoncé, Venus Williams, and Nicole Kidman have been named co-chairs for the 2026 Met Gala, joining Vogue editor-in-chief Anna Wintour. The gala will kick off around the new Costume Institute exhibit themed Costume Art, which explores how fashion and the human body intersect, with categories ranging from the classical to the more provocative. Expect major style statements when the red carpet rolls out next May. This lineup might just bring a whole new energy to fashion's biggest night. With such influential figures guiding the event, next year's gala is expected to set a significant tone for both the fashion industry and the cultural conversation surrounding it. Thank you for tuning in. That is everything I have for entertainment. Back to you both at the desk.
As we dive into the semester ending, Jade Gavan has the latest scoop on Cal State Fullerton's new library policy.
Finals week was crazy for many students at Cal State Fullerton, but the 24-hour policy during that week helps them through it all.
Staff at the Pollock Library are familiar with how operations shift during finals week and shared more about how things run during this time.
It's been a couple years. It was definitely built out of student need for more available hours, especially as we gear up towards finals. So we do get funds from ASI to be able to hire the police department to manage 24 hours on the north side and be able to staff it and do things like that.
Students also shared their thought on the policy and using the library during finals week.
Definitely think it's helpful because I'm pretty sure there's a lot of students here that have like really bad sleep schedules or like want to study later in the night. So I think having an area where they can study later and not be in their room with distractions is very helpful.
Cal State Fullerton's 24-hour policy remains through this week and next week for students. This is Jade Gavan from OC News signing off.
This holiday season, Spirit of Christmas was possible thanks to 3 organizations. Blessing children of all ages, Diana Vilches has more.
The holiday season is in full swing, and the spirit of giving is alive and well at the Brea Mall. This year, several local organizations have joined forces to bring joy to children in need through the Angel Tree program. Haley Ayala, the central manager with one of the 3 organizations that made this program possible, shares the meaning of this event and the impact that it holds.
So this just is the magic of the holidays. I have the pleasure of seeing both ends. I get to come here, I get to volunteer, I get to see everybody get the gifts, but I also get to see the flip side of our survivors receiving these presents, and the whole thing fills my cup to get me through for my whole year.
The Angel Tree is a wonderful way for the community to come together and make a real difference in the lives of children who might not otherwise experience the magic of Christmas. I'm here at the Brea Mall where 3 organizations, Radiant Futures, Sheepfold, and Brea's Women's Center have come together to make Christmas extra special with the Angel Tree program, making Christmas a little more magical this season. From December 5th through the 14th, these 3 organizations are key partners in this effort, working tirelessly to ensure that every child's wish is granted. Each angel on the tree represents a child and their specific needs or wishes.
What I'm doing is I'm checking out people that get an angel from our tree that's in back of me, and they come and return the gift after they shop. So then we put it down and we take it to the office so then all the nonprofits can pick up the gifts at the end of the event.
To contribute to this heartwarming cause, community members are encouraged to visit the Angel Tree located within the Brea Mall. Participants can select an angel ornament, each representing a child-specific wish, and purchase the corresponding gift. This simple act alone allows individuals to impact a child's life and spread holiday cheer. Every gift, no matter how big or small, can make a difference. It's about showing these children that they are loved and that their community cares about them.
We try to do the clothing drives, toy drives, volunteer if we can, so just spread it, There's a lot of people that don't have it, so, spread yourself where you can.
The Angel Tree program at the